operation for landing. Please ensure your seat backs are in the upright position, your headrests are lowered, and your tray tables are stowed. Any carry-on items now should be secured underneath the seats or in the overhead compartment.
Hi, this is Heads vs. Feds, where the ultimate odd couple give their take on the day's drug war news stories. I'm Steve Hager, former editor-in-chief of High Times Magazine.
And I'm Bob Stutman, former head of the DEA New York office, the world's largest.
So, what do you want to talk about today, Bob?
I think we should talk about this 2-year-old child in Montana, a state that I know a lot about, that was given marijuana by his parents as a drug to help him.
Okay, I'm familiar with this case. We're talking about Cash Hyde. He's had a brain tumor operation. He got his brain tumor at age 1. He is the youngest medical marijuana patient in the country, as far as I know.
Certainly Montana, maybe the country. This, Steve, to me, is a very tough story. You got a child with cancer. I would do anything if it were my child to help the child. I think you would, and I would, obviously. When I first saw the beginning of the story, I was actually in favor of what the parent did. Now, I understand the harm of giving cannabis to a child. There is no question. For children, it interferes with concentration, mathematical type problems, short-term memory loss, etc. All things that may not affect an adult, but certainly affect a child. And I understand that. But if this child were suffering from pain or unable to eat, and they gave them cannabis to work on those issues, I would probably say the trade-offs are worth it. And I think most parents would. What bothered me terribly about this story was when I saw the father talk, and 3 things came out. Number 1, no doctor was involved with this decision. The father made the decision. Number 2, he's giving him cannabis, according to the dad, because cannabis has a protective element against cancer, and it regenerates body organs. And that's just wrong. That's crap. That's anecdote. That's not science. So I am dead set against what this dad is doing. Had he said, my son couldn't eat, he was vomiting, he was in pain, and no other medicines helped him, you know what? I probably would have agreed with him. But he's doing it for all the wrong reasons, and he is, furthermore, in my opinion, making the issue in Montana even worse, because when I spent 2 weeks in Montana and talked to thousands of kids, many of them kept saying to me, why shouldn't I smoke grass? My parents have a green card. Now, what do I do when I go back and they say, there's a 2-year-old with a green card? So a really tough issue that the dad is using cannabis for, in my opinion, for all the wrong reasons.
Well, I don't know the laws in Montana, but it seems to me if he's got a green card, a doctor must have signed off on it. But I agree, in this situation where we're dealing with such a young child, there has to be supervision of how the marijuana is being supplied, and there has to be, I would say, at least weekly examinations of the child. They need to be sure that they're not creating harm in this child, and that the marijuana is needed. And so if it's just the dad on his own deciding to do this to his kid, I think that's a very dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, and I think we both agree. If, God forbid, a child has cancer, you do the absolute best scientific thing you can for the child, and which is, in my opinion, see an oncologist. If cannabis helps with the pain, with the nausea, or the inability to eat, I honestly have no problem with that. Those are symptoms that cannabis has been proven to be medically valuable for. It has not been proven to be medically valuable to literally protect kids against cancer. And I've never even heard you say there are any studies that says cannabis rebuilds organs. And that's what this dad's doing.
Well, one thing we both agree on too is that we'd like to see Cash Hyde get well.
Absolutely.
And it was obvious from the video we watched, he's had an operation on his brain. So I have to think there's doctors and oncologists watching over this kid. And Cash, we just want you to get well.
Hey, check back with us. We'll be back next week, or maybe tomorrow, with Heads versus Feds.
Who knows what crazy thing he'll say tonight that I have to talk about. And I'm just set up something to do on detail with you so you don't lose it again. Oh boy.
Does it say recording? Is there a red light?